Dear all, now once again I welcome you all to this my short video lessons. I think earlier the previous video I was discussing about the basics of group discussion or GD, how to go about, and some introductory information regarding what a GD is, why at all it is conducted, who are the stakeholders there, beyond the candidate, what all they try to prove, tests. Okay, now in this particular video today, let us see how do you develop a content for a group discussion. Now thereafter we'll go into some of the, let's say, do's and don'ts, which do's obviously certain things you should be careful about, and don'ts, certain things you should avoid about. Now let us start. Now we all know that group discussion objective is basically to assess how effectively you can work with others and achieve some common organizational goals. That is the intention of why the recruiters normally expose their job applicants initially to the process of selection by conducting GD. Okay, now GD offers a unique platform to showcase your communication, leadership and problem solving skills in the real time, right? Now this has become a widely used in variety of situations, including the selection procedure for new hires, with which we will be focusing this particular discussion. Now, with right preparation and right approach, you can be more confident and you can qualify this crucial assessment round and landing you in the next stage. Now, what are the sources of how do you prepare for the GD? Okay, now I'll just list out a few important sources from where you can get your GD topics. News publications, both print and electronics media, discussions, panel discussions that can give you a lot of ideas about things which currently are in news, and they can be one of the important source of obtaining GD topics. Next is business and technology websites. See, for example, go for example Harvard Business Review. They have permanently discussing about the current happenings, what is happening globally in economy, in society, right, and in the business world particular. Government policies and then government portals. For instance, Niti Aayog, which was the earlier planning commission. Now they constantly review, bring out certain reports, assess, evaluate the programs, and bring out lot of literatures, and they post it in their websites. Websites of different ministries can also be assessed. Then comes social media and podcasts. Now, you as job aspirants should follow thought leaders and experts on different platforms like, say, LinkedIn, Twitter. Listen to these broadcasts on economy, technology and global affairs. So these can be, to start with, some of the important sources of GD topics that you can generate. Now, scanning these sources, you can generate GD topics, then prepare, go ahead, right? Now, I would here list out a few important topics that may be some useful to you. Now, recently we had IPL. So, IPL, the best way to groom future cricketers. You may agree, you may disagree. One nation, one election. A dream or a reality. Something you can suffix. Is cyber crimes laws in India adequate? See, all these topics you can take either side. You can go with the proposition or you can go against the propositions. But then in either case, you have to build your case and then get ready with sufficient data, information so that you can defend your stand. promoting work-life balance. No more a necessity for modern companies. Modern companies nowadays, MNCs, they are providing a lot of benefits so that one may or one may not need at times. So this is a topic which is they can ask you to, and you can go and debate. Do a discussion on taking a stand from either side. Is hybrid work model a better option? Uniform civil code in India, sooner the better. Should moonlighting be encouraged by corporates? You know what moonlighting is. Gig economy, pros and cons. Should India host the 2036 Olympics? Okay, you can take either side. Do deadlines negatively impact creativity or positively? Advertising, a waste of resources. Digital marketing is manipulative. Now, these are a few topics just for the management graduates and technical graduates, fresh graduates who are coming up and facing GDs or the selection process in companies, might get these as GD topics. Now, how do you generate content for the GD? As I have already said, there are different sources, right? So, prior preparation is a must. You can list out a few topics, probable topics that is happening currently, as I just listed out a few. Recently there was this surgical strikes followed by Operation Sindoor. Thereafter we had a battle between Iran and Israel. Okay, prior to that the battle still continues between Russia and the other rival party, you all know. So these are some of the areas which you can prepare beforehand. Go through the current affairs for the last 1 or 2 years. You find a list of major topics which could be in the areas of socio-economic, political, international, business, sports, technology. The list is endless. So you have to equip with relevant facts and figures. Simply saying something won't do. Whatever stand you have to take, you have to put forth your data, the source, figures, facts. They have to be authentic. Let's say that the topic is social media a boon or a bane? Israel-Iran war, Donald Trump's diplomacy. Now these are all areas which can you get ready with, right? Now, sometimes it may so happen you don't have any clue on the subject. Okay, the subject is or topic is rather completely new. Then what do? You cannot remain silent. That will be suicidal. You will get eliminated. So experts have suggested some of the ways where you can, by applying your mind, you can develop some contents. Get ready very quickly. Maybe 5-10 minutes are allowed to you before the start of a GD. So let's see how do you develop it in case when you don't have any clue on the subject that's completely new. First approach is called stakeholders perspective approach. You know what the stakeholders are? Directly or indirectly, who has the interest on any subject or any events. So let us assume a topic. Should mercy killing be legalized? So how do you go about developing content on this? So first thing you have to do is identify who are the different stakeholders or parties if you are adopting this particular approach. Who can be the stakeholders? The patient, the family of the patient, the government, legal machinery, the judicial system, the law of the land, society and its views. Media could also come out as stakeholders. So once you identify the stakeholders, then you go for identifying what are the possible views of each of these stakeholders. You may take the theme which I just mentioned. Then you can form your own perception as to what would be possible opinion of all these stakeholders. How the patient will perceive or view. how the family members of the patient, they are going to view, the government and the legal machinery, how they are going to react. Something very new. There is no law earlier. So you have to find out or identify rather the possible views of all these stakeholders. Okay, and then you can develop your own, take a stand either for or against. There is yet another approach which says that identify the key words. You have to define each of the keywords that you identify the opinion on it, whether you agree or disagree, identify the reasons for agreeing or disagreeing. Now let us take the same example of should mercy killing be legalized. So there are two keywords here which I have identified. You can identify more than that. Mercy killing and legalize or legalization. So define what is mercy killing. Any graduate can have it or define it in own way. No need of quoting, no need of standard definition. You can have your own standard definition. The act of killing someone painlessly, especially someone suffering from an incurable illness. So this is what is the meaning of mercy killing is. Right? Now after defining the keywords, identify your own opinion on it. Whether you agree, whether you disagree. In either case, you have to list out 5, 6 or 10 points. Right? And then move out. A third approach is also suggested, which is called spelt approach. Spelt sound S-P-E-L-T. Right? So what it stands for? Social, political, economic, legal and technology. From all these 5 angles, you have to form your own opinion, taking a stand whether you are supporting the proposition or opposing it. How does the topic affect the society? What is the role of the government administration and its views could be? What is the likely economic impact? What are the legal aspects of the issues involved? Whether law permits? Does the law require an amendment? Okay, how easily it can be done? So all those aspects you can probe and then prepare some contents. Technology. Are there barriers placed on technology? Now these spelt approach has identified 5 aspects you have to probe and find out what is the possible outcome. Now next I go into some of the do's and don'ts that you should follow while you are actually participating in a GD session. Now I'll just list out them very briefly. Okay. First of all, listening to the topic very carefully. Okay, spend some time on listening to what the group testing officer has mentioned. Then put your thoughts on a paper. They may at times allow you a short 1 or 2 sheets of paper or a short what you call writing pad. Okay. Then you jot down the few points either in for or against the proposition as you feel. Then initiate the discussion. If you know the subject well, don't jump into unless you are very sure of your own preparations, ideas on the subject. Listen to others first if you are not very sure of. By listening to others, you can generate your own views and perception on the subject. Support your views with facts and figures. Right? Make short contributions. Right? Don't have a lengthy lecture at one go with an intention that you will dominate the entire GD. Okay? You can have several rounds. First round you can have 1 or 2 minutes each. Thereafter you can come back again and then continue likewise till you have the time. Every GD has the time limit. Give others chance to speak. Mind you, we are discussing what are the do's, what you should do. Right? Because once you are giving chance others also to participate and speak, that shows your team spirit. That is one of the aspects your organization or recruiter is trying to prove whether it is there in you or not. Are you a team player or individual player? Speak politely and pleasantly without hurting any other member's feelings. Be courteous. Respect others. When you are respecting others, this sends a very positive image regarding you. Mind you, everything you do, verbally, non-verbally, you are being observed. Maybe the GD is getting recorded, videotaped. If you disagree politely. Say something like this: sorry, I beg to differ. And never be aggressive. Hey, what you are saying is rubbish. That's not the way. You can say that, sorry, I beg to differ, or I hold another different view altogether. And do it very politely and decently. Maintain always an eye contact with all, not only one or two whom you are very much familiar with. Say thank you before ending every round. That indicates the others can take their turn. Of course, in GD there is no such rules that one has to wait till the other person finish and then take the turn. No. If occasion demands, you can intervene. Right? Your voice should be audible to every member, neither shout nor whisper. Try to speak something new. Do not repeat what others have already stated. Okay, you can start, you can borrow some of the ideas, but add to it always. Then summarizing this very essential, right? Before you conclude the GD, you can take the lead. Summarizing. After do's, let us see some of the don'ts which you should always avoid. So don't initiate the discussion if not having sufficient knowledge. Okay? That means don't be hurried to speak. Neither shrink the responsibility if others are asking you to take up the decision or initiate the discussion. That shows your leadership. Don't overspeak or intervene too often when others are speaking. That is discourteousness. Don't argue or shout very aggressively. As I said, you can be assertive, but never cross the limit and get into the aggression mode. Right? Sorry, I cannot agree with you. I beg to differ. These are assertive sentences. But you cannot say that. Hey, what you are saying is totally rubbish. Rotten ideas. Your voice, your both, the tone, your intonation, the stress, facial expressions, everything should never be aggressive. Never talk irrelevant things which are totally out of context. Pose negative gestures. See, as I said, both verbal as well non-verbal communication matters. So don't have these negative body gestures. For instance, touching your nose too often, leaning back, knocking the chair, putting one leg on the other. These are certain non-verbal communications you should try to avoid. Don't mention incorrect or erratic statistics on which you don't believe they are correct. Don't impose your ideas on others. Okay? Leave the options for others to agree to you or may disagree. Don't be silent spectators. Sometimes some of the candidates, they are very hazy, they are very shy. See, in GD, unless you participate actively, you are eliminated. You are not considered good enough for the job or for the purpose that the D is being conducted. Try to show aggressive behavior. Don't ever try to show aggressive behavior. And don't also put others into an embarrassing situation, through your verbal and non-verbal communications. And don't try to be, the ringmaster, taking all decisions yourself unilaterally, never consulting other group members. That is something very bad. Now, before I conclude, right, a few things that you should be mindful that can set you apart from the crowd. Crowd means what? The other members, right? Because you are competing there. In a GD, you are also a member who is competing. So you have to have healthy competition. It should not be cutthroat competition, mind you, in GD. Okay? Never flex your muscles. Okay, now what all you need to be mindful about? Dress to impress. Wear professional attire. This will reflect your seriousness, confidence, and commitment. Secondly, initiate the discussion if given opportunity. Taking charge demonstrates your leadership capabilities and qualities. Organization always prefer those who are taking some leadership role proactively. Be an active listener. Now, if you don't listen to others, this will be so that you are disrespectful for others. So, show respect and empathy by listening to others mindfully. Maintain politeness and professionalism. Handle disagreements with grace and composure without resorting to any harsh wordings. Avoid complex language or jargons which others cannot understand. Clear communication will help others to understand your perspective more effectively and respond to, and they may accept you. Your acceptance by the team members or the other members of the group is very essential. Back your points with examples. Support your arguments with relevant statistics, anecdotes, facts, and real life examples. Okay. Establish eye contact always when you speak, because we know, as communication experts say, we communicate with our eyes. Okay. So effective non-verbal communication also helps to build a rapport that keeps others engaged with you. Maintain a positive body language. What is that body language we are talking about? Sit upright in a welcoming gestures and avoid any type of distractions like fidgeting. Avoid dominating the conversation or interrupting others without reasons and too often. You can occasionally always do it, but do it very politely, very decently, right? For instance, you can say, I'm sorry I am interrupting you, but I have something important to here point out, or else we will miss out. That you can use. Respect the time allotted for the discussion. Be concise, purposeful in your response. Avoid long explanations purposely just to kill time of others. Right? So these are a few things one need to, rather be mindful about if you want to stand out from the crowd. Okay, here I stop it for the time being. Today we'll be continuing with some more videos, lessons on GD. How do you go about, other aspects in my next. Thank you for being here listening. Thank you all.